Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. A Luna's journey from servitude to strength. Andrew has been searching for his Luna and mate for many years. He holds the position of Alpha of Moon Lake Pack, a highly successful pack, and he is a strong leader. What he didn't anticipate was encountering her while visiting one of the most brutal packs in existence. Catalina, the daughter of the Alpha of Blood Forest Pack, was treated like a servant within her pack. She prepared meals, cleaned, and did anything else her father requested. Until one day, an Alpha from a different pack claimed her as his mate and relocated to the opposite side of the country. Will he prove to be her knight in shining armor or like every other Alpha who has treated her poorly? Will they manage to remain together when she reveals herself to be more than just his mate? A war is approaching, and she holds the key to victory. Episode 1. Catalina's POV. I wake to my alarm going off. It reads 5 a.m. I get out of bed and put my work clothes on. I only have 2 outfits, work and casual. I head downstairs to the kitchen to get started on breakfast. But first I make myself a cup of coffee and step out on the patio. It's dark and quiet, no one wakes up this early. This is the only peace I have all day, and I cherish it. After I finish my cup I head inside and start making breakfast for everyone. I live in the Alpha house, only the Alpha family lives here. The Alpha's my father. My mother and father live here along with my 2 older brothers. Even though I'm family, I am treated like an Omega. My room is a closet. I cook for everyone, and I clean constantly, and I'm not allowed out of the house. I want to finish breakfast before anyone comes down. It's the best way to avoid confrontations. I make stacks and stacks of pancakes. My brothers are 27 and 25. They're both warriors. They eat a lot. I cook sausage and bacon as well, and just to make sure there is enough I also bake some blueberry muffins. As I finish making breakfast and cleaning up, I start to hear movement from upstairs. I race to set the table and make my way down to the basement to start on the laundry. I try my best to make sure I am out of their way. In the basement I hear them make their way downstairs and start eating. I feel a bit relieved. Today might not be so bad. I know my father has a meeting with an Alpha from another pack today and he'll probably be busy with that for most of the day. About an hour later, I am folding clothes in the laundry room when I smell it, that rank smell of lust, and I know immediately who's behind me. I turn around to see Beta Yuri standing in the doorway. He pushes himself against me and takes my throat in his hand. You trying to avoid me, cat? He spits into my ear. I shake my head nervously. He grips tighter and takes a big sniff of my hair. I can feel him growing excited against me. I don't have time to trap you right now. But I'll have you tonight. He grips tighter against my throat, his free hand glides behind my waist and grabs my knee. Do you understand? He asks. I can only nod my head. He releases me and steps back. I gasp for air and grab my throat. He straightens his clothes and hair before heading back upstairs. Bring a tray of coffee and muffins to your father's office in 1 hour. I don't want you in there when the other Alpha arrives. He yells over his shoulder on his way up the stairs. About 30 minutes later, when I'm sure they have left the dining room, I head upstairs to clear the table and prepare the tray. When I finish, I bring the tray to my father's office and knock. "Come in," he yells. I take a deep breath and enter. Both my father and Beta Yuri are sitting in the office. I try to hurry and leave the tray, but as I turn to leave, Beta Yuri says, "Cat, come over here." I slowly walk over to the side of the couch. He looks up at me and a smile curls across his face. "Sit on my lap, Cat, I've missed you." I hesitate, but he grabs my hips and pulls me into his lap. I don't pull away because I know it's no use. My father doesn't look up from his work, but I know he knows what's going on. Beta Yuri buries his face in my neck and sniffs. He whispers in my ear, "I am looking forward to tonight. Maybe there's time to play time before the meeting." He slides his hand over my shirt, but before he can really do anything, we hear movement outside the door. He groans, "Looks like we will have to wait until tonight, they're early," he says with a sigh and shoves me off of him. I take a few steps away from the couch to put some distance between us. I am standing next to my father's desk when he walks in. Drew's POV. My alarm goes off at 4 a.m. I get up, put on some workout clothes and head to the gym. Good thing it's only down the hallway. I live in my pack house. It's a 12-story condo-like building. Everyone in the pack lives here. The top floor is all mine. I'm the alpha. I need a workout before I go to this meeting today. Alpha Samson and his pack have always bothered me. He is unnecessarily cruel and ruthless. I'm just glad his pack is small and not very successful, or else he'd be a threat to many. I jump on the treadmill and look over the notes for the meeting today. After an hour, I get off and head back to my room for a shower. I'm in there for maybe 5 minutes, then I hop out and get ready to go. I make my way down to the first floor where my beta Murphy meets me. "Morning, Alpha," Murphy says with a smile. Murphy's always smiling. I've always thought he was too jolly for his own good. "Morning, Murph. Did you read over the meeting notes?" "Of course I did. Don't worry, they need our help. I don't think we have anything to worry about," Murphy says while slapping his hand on my back. Murphy has been my best friend since we were pups. His father was my father's beta and best friend. We head out the front door and get into the car waiting for us. Even though this is going to be an easy meeting, I am not looking forward to it, Murphy admits. I raise my eyebrow at him. Alpha Samson always rubs me the wrong way. He's just slimy. Murphy gives a face and shivers. "I know what you mean, Murph, but we could use the land they own here," I say as we arrive to the airport. We make our way to our private jet and prepare for the 2.5-hour flight. We land ahead of schedule and head for the Blood Forest Pack. We're a bit earlier than planned, but I'm eager to get this over with. Blood Forest Pack isn't a big pack, but they have a lot of land spread out all across the country. We're trying to acquire a plot they own right next to our pack lands. We want to build a new training facility. We pull up to the Alpha Samson's house about 10 minutes earlier than anticipated. "Should we wait?" Murphy asks as he looks out the window at the decently sized home in the middle of the woods. "Let's just get this over with," I say as I open my door. It's quiet outside, although I can hear the distant sounds of warriors training. We make it up to the door, and before we can knock, it's opened by Luna Mary, Alpha Samson's mate. She is all smiles. Welcome Alpha Andrew and Beta Murphy. What a pleasure to have you both here. She opens the door wide to let us come in. I know we are a bit early, Luna Mary. I hope that won't be a problem. I ask. Not at all, Alpha Andrew. I believe Alpha Samson is in his office already. Please follow me, right this way. She smiles and leads us up the stairs. The home is very open and the stairs lead to 4 doors, all visible from downstairs. We stop in front of the second door, where she knocks and opens the door. As we enter the room, I see the Beta sitting on the couch, Alpha Samson sitting at his desk. Wait. What is that smell? Mate. Mark, my wolf, growls. I see a girl standing by the Alpha. She is about 5'6", with auburn hair pulled back in a ponytail. She's dressed like a worker. Is she an Omega? She looks nervous. She's just staring at the floor, avoiding eye contact with everyone. Am I sure she is my mate? Yes, she is. And she is not an Omega. Mark growls. Leave cat. Alpha Samson whispers and she turns to go. Wait. I exclaim. I can see Murphy turn to look at me out of the corner of my eye. Mate. I mind link Murphy. Alpha Samson, Luna, and his Beta are all looking at me confused. I walk over to her and place my hand under her chin. She winces. I lift her head and her blue eyes meet mine. Mate. I say. She only holds my eyes for a moment before shifting her eyes back to the ground. I felt a ping in my heart. Was that rejection? Leave now. Cat. Alpha Samson shouts angrily, taking my attention. He does not look happy, but his Luna looks very pleased. Cat leaves the room and I turn to face the Alpha Samson and Luna Mary. Alpha Samson hisses, "Who do you think you are coming in here and claiming my daughter for yourself?" She is. Luna interrupts, Now dear, you know the mate bond is not a choice," she says with a smile. "Alpha Andrew and Beta Murphy, would you mind giving me and the Alpha a moment in private?" I nod to her and step out of the room. "Is she really your mate, man?" Murphy whispers. "Yes, I'm sure of it, but it felt one-sided. Maybe she's not of age yet." I hear sharp whispers behind the door, a loud bang, and then silence. Beta Yuri storms out of the room and down the hall. I look over to Murphy and he has a confused look. When the door opens, the Luna is smiling and invites us back in where Alpha Samson is waiting. "Alpha Andrew, thank you for your patience. Why don't we have our meeting first and then we shall discuss the matter of my daughter," he suggests. I nod and Murphy and I take a seat. The meeting is pretty successful. We come to an agreement on the land and the contracts are drawn up. Once the official meeting concludes, I become anxious about my mate. Alpha Samson turns to his Luna, "My dear, would you mind stepping out for a moment while I speak with Alpha Andrew about Catalina?" She gives him a pointed look, "Of course, dear. I'll grab us some celebratory drinks," and she leaves the room. Alpha Samson stands up and walks around the desk. He sits on its side. He's an older man, probably in his early 50s, but it's hard to be sure. Wears age slower than most. "So Catalina is your mate? And I'm guessing you would like her to go with you back to your pack. Alpha Samson looks directly at me. I can see the rage in his eyes and my own is growing inside me. What will you give me for her? He hisses. Shock. Total and utter shock flows through me. What? Murphy asks. Alpha leans back and relaxes his face. It's simple, I have something you want. So what do you have that I want? It's business. Alpha gets up from the desk and walks back around to his chair. He is completely serious. He's going to sell his daughter. What kind of man is this? What do you want, Alpha Samson? I ask coldly. Well, you are taking one of my best workers. I'm going to need some compensation so I can hire someone new. He says with a grin. He's selling his daughter. Murphy mind links me. I can feel the disgust in his voice. How much, Alpha Samson? I ask with a straight face. $1,000,000, Alpha replies. Murphy stands. What? I can tell he's had enough of this. I keep my eyes on Alpha Samson as his smile widens. Agreed. But she comes with us now. I say as I stand. Alpha Samson stands and shakes my hand. Are you really going to pay that money for your own mate? Murphy mind links me. I have a feeling I need to get her away from this man as soon as possible. I tell him back. At that moment, the Luna walks in with drinks and a smile. So we have an agreement? She asks with a smile. That's when I realize they both planned this. Who are these monsters? Catalina's POV mate, he says while staring into my eyes. He has the most beautiful green eyes I have ever seen. They're a dark evergreen, like the forest. I can't hold his gaze for long. I know my dad is still in the room and I'll get in trouble for being disrespectful. Cat, leave, now, my father says angrily. I rush out of the room and close the door behind me. I hear yelling behind it. I hurry away down the hall to get back to the laundry room. Laundry seems to never end. As I reach the bottom of the stairs, I'm stopped by my brother Sean. He's the oldest and is just like father. He stands in front of me with a creepy smile on his face. Where are you off to so fast, little mouse? He growls at the nickname. I was headed to the laundry room to finish the clothes for today. I almost whisper, staring at the ground. I notice him pause and glance up to the balcony where I see Alpha Andrew and Beta Murphy standing outside Father's office. Sean looks back at me, grabs me under my arm and drags me away into the kitchen. He slams me against the wall so hard that I hit my head. So someone is trying to claim you? He says with a laugh. Who would want you? And an alpha at that. Ha! Imagine. You. A Luna. He hisses in my face. You can't even look at me. You can't even shift. He moves in closer. I suppose he wants his turn with you before he rejects you. I guess I don't blame him. With that, he shoves his hand down my pants and rubs the outside of my panties. I can still feel the sting from the back of my head. He leans into my ear and whispers, "We'll let him have his fun with you, and when he sends you back we'll sell you to Alpha Jackson." My eyes widen. Alpha Jackson is even more ruthless than my father. My father sent me to him one night when he was staying with us. I don't remember everything that happened, but I woke up in the hospital covered in cuts and bruises. The nurse said they found me in the bathtub covered in blood. It took me 2 weeks to recover. I haven't seen Alpha Jackson since then. That was several months ago. Sean starts rubbing me harder as his free hand grabs my ponytail. He pulls it back to give him more access to my throat. Sean! My brother David shouts, drawing his attention away. We're waiting for you, and you're in here harassing Kat. He says frustrated. Dude, chill, Kat found her mate. Sean says, releasing me and moving his hand away. David glances at me surprised. Who? Alpha Andrew, Sean explains. Well, I'm sure he's going to love her scent being all over you then. David says matter-of-factly. Sean rolls his eyes and walks past David without saying anything. David looks at me sympathetically. David's never touched me. One time, after a beating from my father, I was about to pass out from the pain when I remember someone coming in, picking me up and carrying me to the bathroom. They bathed me and put me into bed. It was David. We've never talked about it. You okay, Kat? David asks. His voice snaps me back from the painful memory. I nod and hurry past him down to the laundry room. I'm finished with the laundry and was about to bring it up to deliver it to the rooms when I walked in on my mother in the kitchen. She looks happy, which is never good. Oh, Kat. Good. Put that down. You need to go upstairs and pack your things. You'll be leaving soon for your new home. My new home? I ask. Yes, you are going to live with Alpha Andrew. He paid a handsome sum for you. She explains. You are our connection to the richest pack in the country and we are going to milk this. You better not doing anything to upset him. If he sends you back to us, things will get worse for you. She glares at me. Don't mess this up for us, Kat. She hisses. Now go get your things. She pushes me out of the kitchen and up the stairs. I go to my room and grab the only bag I have, a small backpack. I pack up all of my belongings, which doesn't amount to much, and it all fits with room to spare. Get down here, you are leaving. My mother mind links me. This is all happening so fast. I rush out of my room and down the stairs. My mother and father are standing there next to Alpha Andrew and his beta. My mother hugs me. Remember what I told you? She whispers in my ear. Bye, honey. Be good and we will see you soon. She says loud enough for everyone to hear. My father just grunts and stares at me. Alpha Andrew steps aside so I can pass him and head out the door. His beta is holding the door for me. We walk out of the house and the beta opens the car door, and I climb inside. Alpha Andrew climbs in after me and his beta sits up front. I keep my eyes to the floor. I'm extremely nervous. After a few minutes of driving, Alpha Andrew turns to me. You don't have to be nervous, I'm not going to hurt you. He explains. I glance up at him and he smiles. His smile is warm, I feel drawn to it but don't know why. I realize then that I had been staring at him and I quickly shift my eyes back down to the ground. We arrive to the airport and head straight to the plane. I stop to look at it. What's wrong, hun? His beta asks, looking concerned. I've never flown before. I say almost in a whisper, but I knew he could hear me. He smiles. Oh kid, it's the best, he says, placing his hand on my back and guiding me towards the plane. Alpha Andrew lets out a small growl that makes me jump. He quickly looks at me with concern. But his beta just ignores him and continues leading me to the plane. There are drinks and food and even a bed for naps. I love flying. Well, I love flying private. He chuckles. The Alpha just shakes his head and follows behind us. We get on the plane. It is beautiful. There is a couch and 4 single seats each set with a table. There's a velvet curtain separating another room that has a bed in the back. The beta walks in and sits in one of the single chairs. He gestures for me to sit on the couch. I take a seat. The Alpha sits next to his beta. I can feel both of them looking at me, but before they can say anything a woman comes by and asks if they want anything to drink. They both order a whiskey. The woman then comes over to me. And what can I get for you, sweetie? Oh no, thank you. I don't need anything, I say shyly. Get her a water, Sarah, says the beta. Sure thing, Sarah replies and walks to the front of the plane. Andrew's POV. I have never felt someone so scared and nervous in my entire life. Murphy says in my mind. I know, man, I'm trying really hard not to overwhelm her, but I don't think she's ever even been out of that house. I reply. We are all sitting on the plane in silence. Sir, we are about to take off, Sarah tells me as she delivers our drinks. We should arrive by 2 p.m. she informs us. I notice a look of surprise come from Catalina. It's a 2.5-hour plane ride, I explain to her. She takes her water from Sarah and nods in understanding. Man, this is going to be a long plane ride, Murphy says in mind link. I give him a look. After about 30 minutes, Catalina seems to have relaxed a bit. Murphy and I discuss some plans we have about the new training facility we want to build. We have 3 plans to decide on. After about an hour of back and forth with Murphy, discussing all of our options, we finally decide on a plan. I glance over to check on Catalina and notice that she had fallen asleep while we were working. I get Murphy's attention and point over to her. Do you think this means she's getting more comfortable? Murphy laughs. Should I leave her here or take her to the bed? I ask him. Maybe it's too soon to carry her off to bed, Murphy says, pointing to the closet where there are extra blankets. I get up and grab one and walk back over to her. I lay the blanket on her as gently as I can. This is the closest I have been to her. I notice her shirt is hiked up on her side, revealing the end of a scar. That's when it hits me. She is wearing long sleeves and jeans. Is it to cover up her scars? I feel a wave of anger rush over me. What's wrong, man? Murphy asks in my head. I know he can feel my anger from there. I finish covering her and walk to the back of the plane with Murphy right behind me. What's up, man? Murphy asks, looking concerned. Murph, I have a feeling she is covered in scars. She is wearing long sleeves and pants in the middle of July. And I saw the end of a scar on her side. I don't know, rage came over me. I say, pacing back and forth. I'm not known for keeping in my anger. I want to punch something so bad. Rage is filling me up inside and I feel like I'm going to explode. Excuse me. A shy voice grabs our attention. What? I yell, filled by my anger. It's Catalina. She jumps and looks like she wants to crawl into herself and disappear. Oh Catalina, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I trail off and Murphy steps towards her. What can I get for you, hun? He says softly. A small growl leaves me, out of my control. Her eyes are glued to the floor. I just wanted to know where the bathroom is, she says in a whisper. Murphy walks forward and stands in front of the door. It's right here, my lady, he says as he opens it and bows. She shyly giggles and steps forward. She heads into the bathroom and Murphy turns to me with a grumpy look. Man, you have to get it together. You can't blow up at her, he scolds. I didn't mean to. Man, this is not how I imagined meeting my mate would be. She acts like she doesn't even feel the mate bond, I say in a huff. Catalina comes back from the bathroom and walks back to the couch. Catalina, would you like to sleep on the bed instead? I know that sofa isn't that comfortable, I ask with a smile. Oh, I don't mind. It's more comfortable than the bed I had at home. And bigger. She whispers the last part. But if I'm in the way, I can stay in the other room, Alpha. Her eyes never leave the floor. I sigh. Catalina, you are not in the way. I just want to make sure you are comfortable. She glances up and smiles, then turns and heads back to the couch. Did she say that couch was bigger than her bed at home? What was wrong with those people? Murphy says behind me. I feel like it's going to be a long road to get her to be comfortable with me, I say, almost defeated. The rest of the plane ride is quiet, and Catalina falls back asleep. Murphy and I continue talking about our plans for the training facility. We also decided to have Murphy's mate show Catalina around when we arrive home. Catalina's POV: I'm woken up by Alpha Andrew's hand on my cheek. He's right in front of me when I open my eyes. I get lost as I look into his deep green eyes. We're here, sweetheart, he whispers. I nod and sit up. I grab my bag, and we head out the door. Outside the plane, a large black SUV is waiting for us. The beta holds the door open for me to get in. Take us to the pack house, Alpha Andrew says to the driver as he gets in behind me. We drive through a busy city. I've never seen so many tall buildings. I hear a chuckle behind me that draws my attention. It's a lot, isn't it? Alpha Andrew says to me with a grin. I only nod and go back to looking out the window. We pull up to a very tall building with swinging doors, a velvet red carpet, and an awning. The beta comes around and opens my car door. He leads me through the front doors. The lobby has high ceilings with beautiful chandeliers coming down. I'd hate to have to clean those. There's a large sitting area around a fireplace where people are sitting. Some are talking to each other while others are on their phones. It's not busy, but it still makes me feel nervous. There's a long desk in front of us and I see the Alpha walk over and speak to the woman behind it. She hands him a white envelope. All of a sudden I hear a high-pitched squeal that draws my attention. A woman with long wild brown curls comes rushing towards me with a huge smile on her face. She has on a dark gray pencil skirt, navy blue satin top, a thin black belt, and black pumps. She grips me into a hug, maybe just a little too tightly, and almost knocks the wind out of me. Oh my God, finally! She squeezes with excitement. She pulls back and places her hands on my shoulders. Oh hun, I'm sorry, I'm just so excited to finally meet you. Her smile is warm, and it feels like she's searching my eyes for something. I avert my gaze back to the floor. The beta cuts in, you will have to excuse my mate. She has been waiting for Drew to find his mate for years. I told her about you on our flight over. The beta places a hand on his mate's shoulder. Yes beta. No problem. I nod. Oh, where are my manners? I haven't introduced myself. My name is Murphy Winters and this is my beautiful mate Rachel. He says with a smile. It is nice to meet you both. I smile. I see you have met Rachel. She's a fireball this one. Alpha Andrew says as he makes his way over to us. Rachel, can you show Catalina up to her room? Murph and I have to head to the office to finalize the plans. He hands her the white envelope. So the meeting went well then? I completely forgot to ask. Rachel says. She looks at both the alpha and beta. It went pretty well and we decided on a plan too. Beta Murphy says as he kisses her forehead. We won't be back too late. Alpha says as they head out the door. Rachel turns to me. Advice number 1, when they say that, it really means the opposite. Don't hold it against them. They work hard for the pack. She puts her arm around my shoulders and leads me to a hallway. We walk to a group of elevators and get in. She presses the top floor. So dear, tell me about yourself. She asks as she leans against the elevator wall. Oh well, my name is Catalina Black. I am 24 years old and I am the daughter of Alpha Samson Black. I say, glancing up at her and then back to the floor. Her smile disappears. Oh hun, she trails off. Oh no, did I say something wrong? Did I upset her? One of your gammas joined our pack about a year ago. Gamma Lucas. He told us about. Well, about some things that went on in the Alpha home. I couldn't. I cut her off, ma'am, I would really rather not talk about it. I felt so nervous about cutting her off, but I didn't want to talk about it. Gamma Lucas was probably the nicest person in my pack. When my father kicked him and his family out of the pack, it was the first time I really felt alone. On several occasions he had stopped my father and brother from taking advantage of me or stopped the beatings. But after he left and there was no one, things got a lot worse. The elevator doors open and pull my attention back. Only then did I notice Beta Rachel staring at me with concern in her eyes. I'm sorry Beta Rachel, I didn't mean to cut you off. I would just rather not talk about what happened at the Alpha house. I say shyly. She just smiles warmly. First off, please call me Rachel. I mean for us to be good friends. Second, you are right, I shouldn't pry. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. Okay. She asks as we make our way out of the elevator and head down the hallway. We stop in front of the last door marked A. She hands me the envelope. Inside this envelope is the key to this floor. Floor? I ask in surprise. She giggles. She opens the envelope, pulls out a plastic card and swipes it over the keypad. The keypad beeps and turns green. We walk into the room and it is like nothing I have ever seen. One wall is ceiling to floor windows with a balcony, across is the kitchen with a long bar top island. The floor is large white tiles. The room has high ceilings and even more chandeliers. She walks past the kitchen to the back of the room. I try to keep up and not get distracted. She makes her way to 2 doors in the back. We pass a living room with a black leather sectional, dark wooden ottoman, and TV. She stops at the door on the left and enters. The room is a little bare but still beautiful. It has a large canopy bed, a dresser, a TV, and 2 more doors. So the bathroom is right through that door and the closet is just here. Rachel points. Where will I be sleeping, Beta? I mean Rachel. I say shyly. Why here? This will be your room for now. The Alpha's room is right next door. She explains. Where are your clothes, dear? Are they bringing them up? She looks around for bags. I don't have any. I say in a whisper. Well then we'll just have to go shopping tomorrow. She says with a big grin on her face. How about this? We'll order some food to be sent up here and I will show you around the floor. Sound good? What do you want to eat? We can get practically anything you want. She looks at me eagerly. Oh, I don't want to be any trouble, I don't eat much anyways. I say nervously. She walks over and places her hands on my shoulders. Catalina, please. You've had a long day and I bet you haven't had anything to eat. Please let's get you some food. I guess I could eat a steak. I almost whisper in reply. A huge smile spreads across her face. A girl after my own heart. Let's get some steaks. You like potatoes, and salad too? She asks as she pulls out her phone. I nod excitedly. I haven't had steak in years. Hey Dan. I need to place an order for the Alpha room. Yet I need 2 steak dinners, with those potatoes I like, and 2 salads. Caesar. Thanks Dan, you're the best. She hangs up the phone. Okay, so it will be a bit, let's show you around. She grabs my hand and leads me back out of the room and into the hallway. We head down the hallway back towards the elevator. This here is the gym. She says and swipes the lock with the key card. It opens to a large room with more workout equipment than our PAC training facility has. There are TVs on the walls in front of the treadmills and weight machines. Some of the machines I don't even know what they do. You can use this whenever you'd like. This floor is only for the Alpha, but Murph and I will sometimes come up here to use it, no one else. She explains. We head back out into the hall and keep walking. This is one of my favorites. She says, stopping in front of a door as she opens it. This is the movie room. We try and get together on the weekends and watch a movie. The guys need forced relaxation time or they'd work themselves to death. She says with a chuckle. The room has 3 rows of 4 seats each, all facing a big white screen. The walls are all draped with dark fabric, making the whole room pretty dark. We head back out into the hallway. We pass a few more doors and she tells me they aren't used for anything yet, and then we get to the last door. This is what we've called the library. She opens the door to a room walled with books. Everything in it is a warm wood color. The bookshelves are dark wood, the floor is wood with a thick forest green rug. There's a large wooden table and chairs on one side and what looks like a small bar on the other side. In the middle are two warm brown leather armchairs. The boys come here sometimes after a long day for a drink. But mostly it's empty. She explains. Oh, the food has been delivered. Let's go. She excitedly grabs my hand and leads me back to the apartment. When we get back, the food smells so good my stomach growls audibly. Rachel giggles and we sit down to eat. Everything tastes so good that I'm a bit sad when it's over. Rachel also had some wine brought up. I have never had wine. I sip it tentatively. I honestly don't like it too much, but Rachel seems to really enjoy it. You'll learn to love it, she says to me, noticing my distaste for it. So Catalina, can I call you Cat? She asks. I'd prefer Lena. She smiles. Okay, Lena, tell me, what do you like to do? Any hobbies? She asks as she stacks our empty plates on top of one another. Well, I like to paint and draw, I say shyly. That's lovely. How often do you paint? She asks. Not often. Father wouldn't let me paint unless he needed some money. He'd make me paint and sell them as soon as I was done. I mostly cooked and cleaned back home. Don't get me wrong, I love baking too. I'll cook and clean here too. I'll do whatever you need. I shouldn't have said those things about Father. Please don't tell him. I start ranting nervously, almost panicking. Shahan, it's okay, she says, reaching for my hand. You won't need to do any of that here. And we won't be telling your father anything. Why don't we go watch a movie? Have you ever been to the movies? She asks. I shake my head. She just smiles, pours herself another glass of wine, and stands. We head to the movie room. She asks what I want to watch, but I don't know what to say. So she picks a movie called When Harry Met Sally. I absolutely love it. I could tell Rachel was a bit distracted, but the movie really had my attention. When it was over, we decide to watch one more. She picks a movie called The Notebook, which I also loved. I must have dozed off though, because the next thing I remember is being carried into my room and tucked into bed. Alpha Jackson's face is next to mine. I will make you scream in pain if it's the last thing you and your purple eyes do. He hisses in my ear and enters the blade into my side and drags it down. The pain is radiating through my body, but I don't make a sound. Tears are streaming down my face. My breath is weak. Why won't you scream? He spits in anger. He takes the blade and runs it across my stomach. It burns, it's pure silver. I squint and take a sharp breath in from the pain. He drives the knife in. Searing pain rips through my whole body. But she will not scream. Kayla won't scream. Catalina's POV. I wake up in a panic and cold sweat. I look around the room and I am alone. It's the middle of the night. It was only a dream. Only a dream. I grab a pillow and blanket and walk to the bathroom. I turn the light on, lay the blanket down into the tub and crawl in. I fall back asleep. I wake up, it's early, before the sun. I head to the kitchen to find some coffee. I find the coffee pot and some grounds. I make a pot and grab myself a cup. I grab a blanket off the couch and wrap it around myself as I head outside to the balcony. It's crisp, like it could almost be fall, but this is just because the sun isn't up yet. It's quiet, and it makes me love mornings. Hey Catalina, I hear from behind me. I jump up almost spilling my coffee. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, he says, rushing over. He must have just come from working out because he only has on a pair of gym shorts and is glistening with sweat running down his beautiful body. God, Lena, get it together. I'm sorry, I didn't think you would be up so early. I was just having a cup of coffee before making you breakfast. I'm sorry, I'll go back in, I say nervously. I should have found out what time he gets up. Catalina, please sit back down. We should talk, he says as he sits down next to me. Oh no, I wonder if Rachel told him what I said. Maybe I'm not doing what he wants, maybe he's going to reject me and send me back home. I start to panic and my breathing gets fast. He grabs my hands. Breathe, Catalina. You aren't in trouble or danger. You are safe. I take a few deep breaths and close my eyes. I'm sorry. Please don't send me back home. I will do whatever you want. I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll help, just please let me stay. You can reject me if you want, but please. Catalina, stop. He cuts me off and looks upset. I'm blowing this. Catalina, you do not need to cook or clean. You are not a maid. You are my mate. He grabs my hand. Do you know what that means? He asks, concerned. I shake my head. He sighs, how about I have Rachel explain it to you when you are ready? But all you need to know is I'm supposed to protect you, not use you. But you paid for me. Don't you want to get your money's worth? I whisper the last part, thinking back on what my brother said. I look up at Alpha to see his reaction. I hear a low growl as his eyes start to turn black. I pull my hands away in shock. Catalina, I am not like the men you have known before. I knew your father would not have let you leave if I didn't give him something. Please don't ever group me with those animals, he says as he stands. I can hear the anger in his voice. I shrink down into my blanket. I just want to disappear. I glance up and see his eyes are back to dark green. He looks sorry, but he just walks away. Rachel will be here in an hour. I'm headed into the office, he says from the door to the balcony. I just nod but don't turn to look at him. Catalina, he trails off and doesn't finish his sentence. I feel him walk away and leave. I sit there until the sun comes up. Rachel arrives 30 minutes later and comes out to see me on the balcony. Hey hun. I heard about what happened. Are you okay? She was kneeling in front of me looking up. I smile and nod. She smiles back, good, because honey, we have some shopping to do. She grabs my hand and we head out the door. We ride down in the elevator and into the lobby. Good morning, Beta Winter, and Miss Black greets the bellhop in the lobby as he holds the door open. Headed out for the day? Yes, Dan. We have some serious shopping to do, Rachel says with a smile as we get into a black SUV. Happy hunting, ladies. Dan waves with a grin. Off we go. We drive for a few minutes before pulling up in front of a cute little boutique. We are greeted by a beautiful woman with long wavy black hair. Welcome, Beta Rachel. She locks the door behind us. Stacy. This is Catalina, our future Luna. She needs a completely new wardrobe. Hook her up. She has a great figure, so let's play into that, she says as she makes her way to a sitting area. Stacy leads me to a changing room. Go ahead in here, get undressed and I will grab a few things in your size. What size are you, honey? Stacy asks. Oh, I'm not sure. 6 I think, I say nervously. She smiles then leaves me. I take my pants and shirt off, standing there in my underwear feeling very uncomfortable in front of a mirror. I can see all the scars that have been left on my body over the years. Okay miss, I have several options. Oh miss. Stacy stops when she sees my scars. Rachel comes in behind her looking concerned. Oh Catalina, my dear. Her eyes fall on my scars. I try to cover them with my hands but my arms hold their own scars and tears start falling from my eyes. Catalina, please don't cry. What happened to you, my dear? Rachel asks as she wipes my tears away. After a minute of me not speaking, okay that's fine, when you are ready. In the meantime you have fantastic legs. We will play those up and give you either full-length or quarter-length sleeves. Okay. She looks at me and Stacy. Stacy smiles and nods and I take a deep breath and nod too. They both leave and Stacy comes back with different options for me. I try on dress after dress after dress. I have never worn so many different styles of clothes in my whole life. Rachel loves all of them. Stacy will take them all. It's time to go to the next store, Rachel says to Stacy, who hurries off to wrap all the dresses. Next store? How many stores are we going to? I ask. Well, I had planned on 5. However, I don't want to overwhelm you, so let's do 4. She smiles and giggles at my reaction. By the 3rd store I am exhausted. Who knew shopping would take so much energy? We finally make it to the last store and I am tired. Rachel, how much longer will we be shopping? I ask shyly. Just then my stomach decides to join the conversation. Rachel giggles, oh my gosh, we haven't eaten all day. Let's say we send all our finds home and we'll go get some dinner. Then after dinner we'll go home and have a girls' night. Sound good? She doesn't wait for me to respond. She tells me to pick out an outfit to change into and then we head to a restaurant that is just down the street. My stomach growls again as we're being seated. Rachel and I enjoy a wonderful meal together. Catalina, tell me about your wolf. Rachel asks at the end of the meal. My wolf? Well, her name is Kayla. And she is beautiful. I tell her. When was the last time you shifted? Rachel asks. Oh, idk. I shrug. Catalina, you can tell me. Rachel takes my hand. Well, about 2 years. Rachel gasps. When was the last time you spoke to her? Rachel asks. A year, I think. I feel ashamed again and shift my eyes to the ground as I pull my hand back from hers. Well, dear, maybe one day I'll be able to meet her. As she speaks, I can see tears forming in her eyes. We drive back to the pack house in silence. We make our way up in silence. When we get in the apartment, Rachel tells me to go shower and change into some comfy clothes. She'll set up the living room. I take a nice hot shower and think over the events of the last few days. I get out of the shower and put on some of my new clothes. As I walk out of my room, sitting at the table is Alpha Andrew. He looks sad almost. He is wearing a white dress shirt, black pants, and his tie hung loose around his neck. His dark black hair looking disheveled. His arms rest on his legs with his head down. I clear my throat and draw his attention. His green eyes fixed to mine. "Catalina, please come sit down," he says, pulling out the chair next to him as I take a seat. "Catalina, I want to apologize about this morning. I'm not very good at controlling my anger. And when I think about what those people did to you, it fills me with complete and blinding rage. But I want you to know I'm not mad at you. I want to show you we aren't all the same. In fact, I have a surprise for you." He slides a box over to me. Inside is a phone. His hand lingers on mine. He leans in closer to me and brushes his hand on my cheek. Our eyes link on each other. He tucks a loose strand of hair behind my ear. He leans in closer and his lips graze mine as his hand slides to my thigh. My breathing gets faster as he slides his hand higher up my leg. His lips press into mine and his other hand pulls my neck into him. Oh, he wants me and there is nothing I can do to stop him. But I'm not ready for this. I don't want this. I want to run away and hide. I close my eyes and blackness. When I come back out of the darkness, Alpha Andrew has his hands on my shoulders with a scared look in his eyes. "Catalina, are you okay? Your eyes turned purple and it was like you were frozen. What happened?" He's so scared. "Oh, it happens sometimes. When I get scared or if I trail off at the end. If you think something bad is going to happen," he says and looks sad. "Catalina, you have to tell me. Do you feel anything when I touch you?" He is searching my eyes for something. I shift my eyes to the floor. He sighs and hands me the phone. "It's yours to do whatever you want with. I have programmed my number along with Muff's and Rachel's." "What about me?" Rachel asks, walking into the room. "I gave Catalina a phone and programmed your number in it, maybe you can show her how to use it," he says, turning to Rachel. He looks rejected. Am I rejecting him? He looks back at me and smiles, but it's broken, I can tell. And it hurts me. I feel his hurt. How can I feel his hurt? Later, Rachel has dragged me to the couch and is searching for something to watch. "Rachel, can you tell me about the mate bond?" She stops and stares at me. "Your mother didn't tell you anything about it? Or your father?" she asks. I shake my head. "Well, the mate bond is precious. The moon goddess picks the perfect mate for you. You both share a soul. When you two find each other, it's like being complete. You feel drawn to each other and can feel each other's emotions. Your wolves can communicate, and when the bond is complete they can even find you," she explains. She goes on and tells the story of when she found Murphy and how they couldn't keep their hands off each other. We talk for a few hours until she puts a movie on and I doze off. I remember someone picking me up and placing me in bed. "Good night, sweetheart," I hear him say. His breath smells like sour liquor. He is holding me down to keep me from running away. "Oh little mouse, where will you go?" he hisses. "Be a good and be still." I retract from his touch and he hits me across the face. He grabs me by the throat and squeezes. He doesn't stop squeezing. This is it. I'm going to die. Please let me die. Blackness. Andrew's POV. I wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, breathing hard. This is the second night in a row, and I know it's Catalina. I can feel her fear from the other room. I get up and go to check on her. I find her asleep in the bathtub again. I want to pick her up and put her back into bed, but decide against it. I wonder why she sleeps in the tub? Probably the only safe space she knew. I feel so helpless. My mind flashes back to when I kissed her and she went blank. Her eyes turned purple and her body went stiff. This is not what I thought having a mate would be like. She doesn't even feel the mate bond. Knowing she was back to sleep, I go back to my room to lay down. I toss and turn for a few hours and then decide to get up. I get dressed and head to the gym. I get on the treadmill and try to block everything out. 45 minutes later my Gamma Lucas mind links me, Alpha, the room remodel you requested has been completed. There's a pause. Alpha, I was wondering if I could come see her soon. He asks over mind link. Thank you, Lucas. Give it a few more days for her to get settled. I reply. Yes, Alpha. Another 30 minutes and I finish at the gym. I wonder if she is awake yet? I want to show her the new room before going to the office. When I get back, the apartment is quiet and dark. I decide to take a shower and see if she's awake after. When I'm done with the shower, I get dressed and find her in the kitchen making coffee. She stops when she sees me. Would you like some, Alpha? She asks. Please call me Andrew or Drew, anything but Alpha. I say. She smiles. Would you like some coffee, Andrew? Mark purrs in the back of my mind hearing her say my name. No thank you. Catalina, I have another surprise for you. I say as her eyes flick up to mine in excitement. Follow me. I point to the front door. She looks a little concerned but comes with me. We walk down the hall 2 doors over. Do you know what is behind this door? I ask with a cheeky smile. She shakes her head. Well, let's find out. Catalina's POV. As he opens the door we walk into the most beautiful studio I have ever seen. The far wall is floor-to-ceiling windows. There are canvases and new paints. There is a drawing desk and a few sofas that look so comfortable I could fall back asleep. I'm like a kid in a candy store going from one side of the room to the other. Everything is perfect. I hear a chuckle drawing my attention back to him. He's leaning against the wall just watching me. Then I hear it, a voice I haven't heard from in a long time. Mate. She growls in the back of my mind. Andrew's POV. Her wolf. I feel her wolf. She has claimed us. Mark is barking in the back of my mind. I am watching her as she looks at all the things in the room. Rachel told me you like painting, so I had them make this room for you. You can come here whenever you want and paint whatever you like. If there is anything else you need you can go out and get it or ask Dan, he can get anything. Oh, and here, I meant to give you this yesterday. I hand her a credit card. She comes over and takes it. Feel free to use it for anything you need. I tell her. Thank you, Andrew. She says as she looks into my eyes and grazes her hand over mine. Tingles ripple through my hand. I think I see her flinch like she could feel it too. But it's gone as quickly as it came, and she backs away. Catalina's POV. What was that? Was it static electricity? Maybe it was the mate bond Rachel told me about. Well, I hope you enjoy the room. I have to head into the office now. Would you like to have dinner with me tonight? He asks, looking hopeful. Yes. I'd like that. I say with a smile. I'll see you tonight, Catalina, around 7. And with that he leaves. I go back and grab my coffee and sit in my studio. My studio. All my ideas and projects I've wanted to do start filling my mind. Rachel mind links me to tell me she will be by later to help me get ready for my date and see any art I've made. I start working and don't stop all day. Then a knock sounds at the door. It's Rachel. Hey hun. Oh, it's beautiful in here, she says as she looks around. Have you been in here all day? It's like 5 o'clock, she says, looking at all my work. Then she stops in front on one painting. Hun, this is beautiful. What's this one from? She asks. Oh, that's Kayla, my wolf. I explain. It's a picture of an all-white wolf with purple eyes. This is your wolf? Hun, she's beautiful, Rachel says. I then tell her about hearing her today and claiming Andrew. She seems very happy about that. Well, we should get you ready for your date tonight, dear. But we have 2 hours. I say. I know, but we'll just have to work fast. Normally I need a full 3 hours. She says, giggling at my expression as she drags me out of my studio. She shoves me into the bathroom to shower as she picks out my outfit. I shower and get most of the paint off of me. Then she sits me down and starts working on my hair, blow drying and tugging it in different directions. Once she is done with my hair, she moves to makeup. Goddess help me, I don't know a thing about this. After that, I put the dress on. She picked a dark green mini shirt wrap dress with long tight sleeves. It matches Andrew's eyes and looks great with my red hair. She hands me a small black clutch and small black heels. Then we hear Andrew call from the living room. Andrew's POV. I walk in the apartment around 7 p.m. and I hear Rachel and Catalina talking in her room. I walk over to the living room. So ladies, we have an ETA on when we'll be ready. I yell towards her room. I hear Rachel giggle and the door opens. Rachel rushes out. I present to you, your dear Lena Black. Catalina steps out in a short tight dark green dress. Her auburn hair flows halfway down her back. She looks beautiful and I don't want to take her anywhere but my bedroom. I want to feel her soft skin under my hands, I want to bury my face in her neck, I want to taste her. Drew. Rachel yells, taking me out of my daydream. Doesn't she look nice? She says, eyeballing me. Yes, of course. You look beautiful, Catalina, I say, stepping forward. Are you ready to go? I ask, offering her my arm. She nods and takes it. We walk out, down the elevator and into the lobby. Why, Miss Black, you look positively radiant this evening, Dan says and winks as he opens the door for us. I couldn't agree more, Dan. No flirting with my mate. I chuckle and we make our way to the black SUV waiting for us. Wouldn't dream of it, Dan says as he closes the door. I can't take my eyes off her. She was beautiful before, but sitting next to me now, in this dress that's holding her so beautifully. I wish she could feel the mate bond too. She will feel it. I can feel her wolf getting stronger. Mark tells me. I wonder why her wolf was weak. They probably weren't feeding her enough. We arrive at the restaurant a few moments later and enter to an empty restaurant. Oh, there's no one else here. Are they open? She asks, glancing up at me with those big blue eyes. They are open for us. I chuckle. The hostess greets us and shows us to the table in the middle of the room. The waiter comes and pours us some wine. I haven't quite gotten into wine yet. Rachel says I will learn to love it. She says shyly. I laugh. No one loves wine as much as Rachel. I reply. She giggles. She's adorable. If you don't like wine, we can get you something else. Anything. I tell her. Oh no, I don't want to be a bother. She insists. Catalina, you aren't a bother, please. You can call me Lena. She smiles as she looks up at me. She tries the wine and gives a little face. Maybe something sweeter? She asks. I nod at the waiter and he brings out a Moscato and pours her a new glass. This is probably the sweetest you can get. I explain. She tries it and smiles with appreciation. Now this I like. I chuckle. Adorable. We chat a bit about her paintings she did today and her day. She asks me what I do all day while I'm away. I explain my role and some of the things I have to handle on a day-to-day basis. She is definitely more talkative than the first day and even more so after some wine. Our meals come, it's steak. Rachel told me you like steak. I explain. She smiles and nods. I'm beginning to think she is your spy. Shock crossed her face as she finishes her sentence. Oh Alpha, I am so sorry. I didn't mean for that to come out disrespectful or ungrateful. She places her hands in her lap and looks down at them. Catalina's POV, then I hear him full-on laugh. First, please call me Andrew. Second, you are correct. Since I have been so busy, I haven't had the time to know you like I want to. She keeps passing me information about you. Some I have asked for, some I haven't. She knows I care about you, but she also knows I'm a knucklehead and I have a bit of a temper. You don't have to be afraid to say what's on your mind with me. He explains as he reaches for my hand and squeezes. Dinner is amazing, and Drew is adorable. He looks like a model in his navy blue suit and black skinny tie. His black hair looks messy but in like the this was planned kind of way. I can't believe how nice everyone has been to me over the last 3 days. I'm starting to feel stronger every day and I can feel my wolf again. I can't talk to her but I know she's there now. We chat for a bit longer and then dessert comes out. We share. When we're done we make our way out. Would you like to walk back? It's really not that far. He asks, looking down at me. My arm is in his elbow. Sure, if it's not too far. I'm still getting used to heels. I explain. He smiles. Well, if they start to hurt I will carry you. I nod and we start walking down the street. It's night and the city is dying down a bit, but there are still people out. It feels like everyone knows who he is as we walk. He tells me about the city and his pack and how they ended up being one of the largest in North America. I nod along, riding the buzz of the wine. It feels like I'm floating. Before I know it, we were in the elevator heading up. We get into the apartment and he loosens his tie and walks me to my room door. "Thank you for having dinner with me," he says. "Thank you for taking me on my first date," I say back. A look of shock crosses his face, but then it softens. "How would you like this to be a daily thing? We don't have to go out every night, but I would like to take you on a date every night," he says as he takes my hands. There is that static feeling again when our hands touch. "I know you are very busy with work. I don't want to take you away from that," I say, looking at our hands. One of his hands goes to my chin and lifts my head gently. "I'm not too busy for you, Lena." He almost whispers my name. He's beautiful. Like he is just a masterpiece. Looking into his green eyes, a girl could get used to this. "Lena, may I kiss you good night?" he asks. Holy goddess, he's asking my permission. I nod. His hand slides behind my neck and he pulls me gently in to meet his mouth. It is warm and sweet and tender. I have never kissed anyone like this, and when our lips touch it's like electricity. And just as quickly as it started, it's over. "Good night, sweet Lena," he whispers in my ear and starts to head to his room. I grab his arm, stopping him from leaving. He looks back. "Thank you again for the date and for the studio, I really love it," I say, trying not to get emotional. He smiles wide. "Anything for you, my Lena," he says, and we both make our way into our separate rooms. I decide to shower before bed. I put on a pair of pajamas and crawl into bed. I didn't realize how tired I was until I played down. My, a little white mouse has come for a visit," he says from across the room. "Come over here," he says. I take a few steps towards him. I see the bottle of liquor sitting next to him and an empty glass. I stop a few feet away from him. "Closer," he says. I take a few more steps closer. "Closer," he says again. I take a few more. I am right next to his chair by now. He grabs my arms and sits me in his lap. He buries his face in my neck and sniffs. "Mum, you smell like fear and it's intoxicating," he whispers in my ear. "I wonder what I could do to you to get more fear out of you," he says as he licks my neck. He grabs a fistful of hair and yanks my head back, exposing my throat. He then pulls a knife off of the table next to him. A tear rolls down my cheek. "That's a good start, but we can do more." I feel the burn of the knife on my cheek. Catalina's POV. I wake up breathless, touching my face. Checking the room to make sure I'm alone. I catch my breath and take in a few deep breaths. I hate these stupid dreams. Just once I'd like to sleep through the night. I grab my pillow and blanket and head to the bathroom. Andrew's POV. The fear I feel wakes me from my sleep. I lay there trying to catch my breath, knowing it's Catalina's dream again. I hate that she has these dreams every night. I can only imagine the pain she has been through. I get up to check on her. I open her door to find her bed empty. I open the door to the bathroom to find her asleep in the tub. I grab a glass of water and head back to my bed. Catalina's POV. The next few days are pretty much the same. I'd wake up, make coffee, chat with Andrew a bit before he heads off to work. I'd go paint or spend time with Rachel. She always dolls me up for my dates with Andrew. He makes time for me every night. We've gone out to a few restaurants, a few times we've stayed in and he's brought in a chef for us. One time we did a picnic on the balcony. I've been here a little over a week and I am starting to get comfortable. I've even started hearing from Kayla again. Not a lot, but we've chatted. I'm just glad she didn't leave me. I still have the dreams though, every night. Meanwhile back at Blood Forest Pack, knock knock knock, the door opens. Oh Alpha Jackson, what a pleasant surprise. Please come in. Luna Mary says nervously. Alpha Jackson enters the home. Is Alpha Samson in his office? I have come for my little white mouse. Oh yes, right this way. Luna says, leading him to the office. She knocks then enters the office. Alpha Samson is standing behind his desk looking nervous. Alpha Jackson, what a surprise. Samson says, still nervous. Samson, I assume you received the deposit I sent. I'm here to collect. Alpha Jackson states. Yes, well about that, unfortunately she's not here. Samson says with his eyes shifting back and forth between the Alpha and Beta. What do you mean she's not here? Where is she? Jackson's eyes narrow on Samson. Well, you see, Alpha Andrew came last week and Alpha Andrew. Jackson cuts him off. Yes, and he claimed her as his mate and I couldn't survive going to war over her. Samson tries to explain. So you just gave her to him? You don't even know what you had. Jackson growls as he moves across the room, backing Samson up against the wall. I will of course pay you back the money you sent. Samson says nervously, putting his hands in the air in an attempt to de-escalate the situation. You better. You spineless worm. Jackson hisses. He punches the wall next to the Samson's head and growls. Then he makes his way out of the house. Where are we going, boss? His Beta asks. I think we need to pay a little visit to my cousin Andrew. Jackson says as he gets in the car. The next day, Andrew's POV buzz Alpha. Yes, Janet. Alpha Jackson called and requested a meeting with you in an hour. Did he say the matter of the meeting? No, sir. Okay, arrange the meeting. Yes, Alpha. Murph, can you meet me in my office in 30 minutes for a meeting? I mind Ling, sure. I don't see a meeting on the schedule. I'll explain when you get here. 30 minutes later, Murphy walks in. So who's this meeting with? Murphy asks and he takes a seat on the sofa. Jackson. I reply. Murphy groans and throws his head back. What is that delinquent doing out here? Murphy has never been a fan of his and neither have I. Even though we are family, we've never gotten along. Another 30 minutes later, buzz Alpha. Alpha Jackson is here. Send him in. And walks Jackson. I haven't seen him in almost 4 years when he took over the Alpha duties at his pack. He looks harder, colder, detached, just like his father. Hello, cousin. Jackson says with a smile. Hello, Jackson. To what do I owe the pleasure? I gesture for him to have a seat. Oh, I heard through the grapevine that you found your mate. Congratulations. He says as he takes a seat. He narrows his eyes, searching me. Thank you, but we haven't made the public announcement yet. I say, not sure where this is going. Why is that, cousin? I thought you would be shouting it from the rooftops. He asks. He gets up from his chair, placing both hands on my desk, and leans forward. Did you sample the goods and just want to keep her for yourself? He hisses. My eyes narrow at the direction this is going. What? Murphy cuts in, getting mad too. Don't worry, I get it. After I had her, I put in an offer to buy her too. He says nonchalantly. I am filled with rage thinking about him touching Lena. My hand starts to shake. Have you gotten her to scream yet? He narrows his eyes. Enough. I growl. Is this why you came here? I stand as a low growl leaves me. Hey cousin, I just came by to see if when you are done having your fun if I could take her off your hands. He says with a creepy grin. I can't handle any more. I rush across the room and grab him by the throat and slam him against the wall. He laughs. I slam him back against the wall. You will never put your slimy hands on her again. I growl. Oh, but she begged me for more last time. Wouldn't want to disappoint. He hisses in my face. I pull him from the wall and slam him back. I can feel Murphy trying to pull me back from him. Andrew, let him go. He's not worth it. He's trying to egg you on. Murphy mind links me. I know he's right, but I can't get the images out of my head. Andrew, you have to be the bigger person here. Murphy is trying so hard. I ease my hold on him and let him go. I don't know what you were trying to prove here, Jackson, but you need to get out. Murphy says, putting his body between me and Jackson. Oh, I found what I was looking for, I'll be going. He turns to head towards the door. Tell Kat I'll be seeing her. He says over his shoulder as he's walking out the door. I lunge for him, but Murphy holds me back. I am furious. Mark is growling and pacing in my mind. I just want to break something. Go sit down, man, and cool off. Murphy says to me. And before I can sit down, the door opens. It's Rachel and Catalina. Catalina's POV, we don't have to bother them. We can tell them at dinner tonight. I insist. Hey Janet, are they in a meeting right now? Rachel asks the woman at the desk in front of Andrew's office. No, Beta, their last meeting just left. Good, thanks. Rachel says as she leads me to the door. See? No meeting and they need a break anyways. We get to the door and open it. I can feel the anger as soon as we step inside. Andrew is standing at his desk and Murphy in the middle of the room. Rachel, now is not a good time. Murphy says as he is trying to guide us back out. Did you sleep with him? Andrew asks in the smallest voice I have ever heard from him. Man, this is not the time. Murphy tries. Did you sleep with him? Andrew says louder, taking a step out from behind his desk. I look around at Rachel and Murphy. Who? What are you talking about? Rachel asks sharply, taking a step forward. Jackson. Did you trap him? Andrew is filled with rage and I can feel it. How many other men have you been with? He's spitting words now. You are out of line, man. Murphy steps in front of Andrew. No, I have the right to know. He's yelling now. I need to escape, I need to run away, I need to get out. Blackness. Rachel's POV, I cannot believe what I am hearing from Andrew. He has completely lost his mind. I turn to Catalina to take her out of the room. Her eyes are closed, but when she opens them they are purple. I gasp, drawing Andrew's and Murphy's attention. "Lena," Murphy says, looking at her. "Kayla?" I ask. "Could this be her wolf?" She turns and looks at me. "Kayla, is that you?" I ask again. She nods her head. "Kayla, what are you doing?" "Protecting Catalina," she says. "She called me and I came." "Kayla, where have you been?" "Catalina has missed you," I say, getting a look from Andrew and Murphy. "I have been here, but very weak. I have only been able to use my little bit of energy to shield Catalina from the pain." "Pain? What pain?" I ask. "Pain from her family. Pain from the scars." "Kayla, how did you get the scars?" I ask. Andrew and Murphy look at me strange. I haven't told them about the scars. It also isn't my story to tell. "A man named Jackson gave us these scars," she says quietly. "Can you tell us what happened?" Murphy asks, now joining the conversation. She looks down and then back at us. "One night, when Jackson was staying with us in our house, our father sent us to his room. When we got there, he was drunk and made us get undressed and get in the bed. He tied us down and then he took out a silver knife. He dragged it across our body, burning us." Catalina got scared and called on me to come forward. I hit her in the back of my mind the best I could while he cut into our body. He started small, little cuts on my arms. Then he got obsessed with wanting to hear me scream. He pierced my side with the knife and dragged it down. But I didn't scream. He moved to my stomach and made a few more cuts. At this time I was starting to lose consciousness. I felt one more stab in my side before completely passing out. Catalina knows they found her in the bathtub covered in blood. She looks away when she's done. I am completely in shock of what I just heard. How can someone do that to someone? How does someone survive something like that? "Why didn't you shift to protect her?" Andrew asks. "I couldn't shift after the amount of wolfsbane her parents had her on." "What?" Andrew is getting upset all over again. "Her parents gave her a small dose of wolfsbane for the last few years so she couldn't shift. I had to save all the energy I had just to be able to push her back." "How much does she remember?" I ask. "Depends. Sometimes nothing, sometimes everything. I did my best for her." She sounds defeated. She wants to come back. She closes her eyes and opens back to blue. Catalina's POV. I open my eyes to Rachel in tears, Murphy in shock and horror, and Andrew won't even look at me. He is gripping his desk so hard he actually breaks it. I take a few steps back. I turn and leave the office. I can't be in there with them looking at me like that. I head for the elevator. Andrew's POV. I have failed. I couldn't protect my mate. She has been through more than I could have imagined. I want to rip everyone's throat out that ever touched her. How can I make this up to her? How could I have yelled at her over something so stupid? "Jackson!" Mark growls in the back of my mind. "He did this to our mate. We should attack. We need to calm down." I see Catalina rush out of the office. I go to the door. "Catalina!" I shout but she doesn't stop. She's headed for the elevators. She gets in the elevator and someone follows behind her. When he turns around, rage and panic fill me. Catalina's POV. I hear Andrew call my name but I'm not stopping. I get to the elevator and get in. One other man gets in with me and before the doors close I hear, "Hello little white mouse." Catalina's POV. I feel the blood drain from my face and a pit forms in my stomach. I lock eyes with Andrew as I see the rage take over. I see him rushing towards the elevator as the doors are shutting. "Andrew, help!" I mind link him. But he isn't fast enough and the door shuts. I am alone with Alpha Jackson. Andrew's POV. "Andrew, help!" I hear her in the back of my mind almost like a whisper. Mark growls in my head and fights me to take over. I race towards the elevator as quickly as I can. I mind link Murphy. Jackson is in the elevator with Catalina. "What?" Murphy yells. I'm only halfway to the elevator when the doors completely close. No, 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 no! I get to the door and hit the buttons trying to get them open. Murphy contacts security and find out where this elevator is going. "Yes, boss." "What are you going to do?" he asks. "I'm going to take the stairs." I say, looking for the door. "You'll never beat it." "I will if I shift." I race towards the door and start throwing off clothes. I shift as soon as I'm in the stairway. I run as fast as I can up the stairs. They are headed to the top floor, boss. Murphy yells. Of course they are. Catalina's POV. When the elevator starts moving, I hear him take in a deep breath through his nose. I have missed that smell. Your fear is like the sweetest smell. I am completely frozen. What do I do? I'm trapped. You look good, Cat. Being a future Luna looks good on you, he says as he steps in front of me. His hand comes up to touch my face and I flinch. His smile grows as he takes my face roughly in his hands. He leans down close to my face and looks into my eyes. I try to pull back but he pushes my body against the wall. I have nowhere to go. What? Aren't you glad to see me again? He hisses at me. Where are those purple eyes? He says, searching my eyes. Well, I guess you aren't scared enough. He says, pulling his head back and moving his hand to my throat and squeezing. Out of the corner of my eye I see him pull something shiny from behind him. Maybe we should continue our little game. He runs the blade flat against my cheek and it burns. I take in a sharp breath and a tear escapes my eye. Catalina, I can't come out right now. He knows. Kayla says in the back of my mind. Knows what? I ask, confused and scared. That's not important right now. You just need to be strong for a few more minutes. Can you do that? She asks. Yes, I can try. He moves the knife to my thigh. I'm wearing shorts and my only exposed skin are my legs. Well, it looks like I missed a few spots. He says as he notices my unscared legs. He leans into my neck and smells me again. Intoxicating, my dear. He whispers into my ear as he licks my neck. I whimper and try to recoil. Then he uses the knife to cut my shirt open, exposing my stomach and bra. I try to get loose but he tightens his grip on my throat and lifts me off the ground. Where are her eyes? He shouts just as the elevator stops, dings, and the doors open to the most beautiful sight. Andrew's POV. Are they still headed to the top? I asked Murphy. Yes, they haven't stopped. They are on floor 9 still going up. I'm on 8, I need to push harder. I'm going as fast as I can up the stairs. I reach the top and bust through the door and to the elevator. I shift back and hit the button. The doors open and I see my mate lifted off the ground by her throat, her shirt cut up, burns on her face and leg. Jackson is holding a knife. Catalina's POV. I see Andrew at the door out of breath. He growls, "Get your hands off my mate. You know I thought you claiming her as your mate was a cover. I thought you knew what you had. Now I can see she really is your mate. But what did you do to her, Wolf? Used to be one touch from me would bring out those purple eyes. Now, nothing. I am starting to see black spots. Lena, you have to get yourself free. I can't risk him hurting you if I come in there. Andrew tells me over mind link. Catalina, you have to hurt him. He will release you. Kayla says how? I ask, knee him where it hurts. She growls fast and hard. Andrew adds like he knows what I'm thinking. I steady myself and with all my strength I knee Jackson right in his crotch. He groans and releases me. I fall to the ground as Andrew rushes in and tackles Jackson. Lena, go run! He yells. I'm coughing and trying to catch my breath, but I get out of the elevator and into the apartment. Andrew's POV. As soon as Lena is out of his hands I jump on Jackson, holding him down so Lena can escape. Lena, go run! I tell her. When I see she is in the apartment I hit lobby on the elevator. I straddle Jackson and start punching. I can't seem to stop punching him. Rachel, Lena is in the apartment. Go check on her. I mind link while still punching Jackson. Murph, meet me at the elevator in the lobby. Still punching. I'm so mad. Everything Lena has been through, all of the torture, abuse, and I couldn't do anything to protect her. It's all bubbling to the surface. We reach the lobby and Murphy pulls me off Jackson, who is still conscious somehow. 2 guards come and pick Jackson off the floor. Jackson, you are banished from our Pax lands. If you are ever seen on our lands again you will be treated as hostile and killed on sight. I say, breathing hard. Jackson spits blood out of his mouth, looking forward to it. Cousin. Escort him off our lands. I tell the guards. Guys, I can't find Lena. I looked in her room, your room, and the studio. Rachel mind links, did you check the bathroom? Look in the tub, I'll be right there. The tub. I found her. Rachel's POV. I found her. I tell them. She is sitting with her knees tucked to her chest and her arms wrapped around them. Catalina, hun, are you okay? I kneel beside the tub and look into her face. Her eyes. One blue, one purple. I can't get her to calm down. Kayla says. I can hear her mumbling under her breath and her breathing is short. I look over and turn the water to cold. Sorry, hun. I turn the shower on and I hear her take in a deep breath from the shock of the cold water. Her eyes are both blue now. I turn off the water and grab a towel from the shelf and wrap her in it. I dry off her face and as her eyes connect with mine tears well up and she starts sobbing. I lean over the side of the tub and pull her into me. I wrap my arms around her as she cries. After a few minutes I hear people entering the apartment. Andrew, is that you? I mind blink and look over my shoulder to see Andrew standing there in shorts with blood on him. He is walking towards us. Stop! I say. Before you come in here, clean yourself off. I look down at his hands. He looks down too and disappears for a few minutes. Catalina is still crying into me. Andrew returns with new shorts and a loose t-shirt. Catalina's crying has lightened. Lena, is it okay if Andrew picks you up and puts you up in the bed? You won't leave me, will you? She asks, tilting her head to meet my eyes. I won't leave you. I squeeze her. She nods her head and I stand up. Andrew comes in and picks her up so gently. She relaxes in his arms. Do you think she feels the mate bond? I ask Andrew. Goddess, I hope so. He says sadly. Andrew places her in the bed and I crawl in on the other side. He leaves the room. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.